We're talking a bit about past predictions here and if they came true or not. And I can just vouch for one. I mean, we know each other since a couple of years. I'm not sure how long actually.
2015, I think.
Yeah. So that's quite a time. And I remember that well before Trump got elected, Swami told me that he's very certain that he will get elected. He was already running. Was he already running for president, or was this
of course,
before,
yeah.
or was this when he was still when there were still several candidates in the Republican?
Oh yeah, there's several candidates, yeah.
Okay, so even back then you could say he was not even nominated.
He was not even nominated.
And you were pretty sure that he got elected, which I think it's interesting because not many people believe that possible.
Yeah.
So that I remember definitely, and I have to trust you on. You said
other
predictions and
yeah. So in the past 5 U.S. presidential elections, and I'm only talking about U.S. presidential elections, well, in India, in fact, I've been able to predict correctly who the winners is going to be in the final presidential.
In the last 5.
In the last 5 elections,
including Trump.
Starting from Bush and Dukakis.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes way back when.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It's a long time.
Didn't know that you are in astrology so long.
Yeah.
But
well, I was in Greek astrology then, so.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's quite something. And
to me, what was fascinating wasn't the fact that someone like me can use astrology, or anyone can use astrology to predict the outcome of presidential election. But what is more fascinating to me is if I or somebody can do it, that means the outcome is already predetermined. And that raises a lot of other questions, and philosophical questions, in fact, as to how is that possible, why is it possible, and things like that. So it's not that I'm a supporter of Trump.
He's a tramp, of course.
Freudian slip there, but the fact is that I'm just looking at it from a non-attached view. I don't really care who wins or who the president was going to be. In fact, I've never voted in my life for that very reason. But it's looking at it from the trends of astrology to be able to predict certain events. And with Trump at that point, it was very clear to me that he was going to win. The only doubt I had at one point was I did not have Hillary Clinton's chart at that point. So without comparing the two, it's really hard to make a guaranteed prediction. But at some point I remember sleeping late at night and it's like, I could rectify her chart, and so the debate was really between 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. In terms of Hillary Clinton's birth time. And after rectification, I came with one that I settled with, and I began to gain some confidence looking at past events. And then I did a comparison between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, and it was quite evident that he was going to win. Now, so what happened also, besides you, obviously, since we met in Tanzania, there were other students of mine who were really nervous and wanted to know. And because they'd asked me, I sort of I knew that they were Clinton supporters, and I didn't really want to disappoint them. But then they asked me 3 times, and I was like, okay, well, if they asked me 3 times, then maybe I need to. So I think it was Halloween of 2015. I actually, auspicious orange day. Yeah, I'm wearing orange.
2015 even?
Yeah, because, no, it was, election was in 2016, I'm sorry. So election was, November 6th, 2016. So October of 2016 is when I sent them an email saying that, Trump is going to win.
And this could start mourning already?
And they could start mourning. Yeah, just preparing them so that it softens the blow, So.
Okay.
Right.
Nice. Anything, okay, so we have 5 presidents, that's quite a good number. If you can pick the highs and lows of Bitcoin like that, I'm very happy.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
But anything else in the past that you kind of, I mean, it's of course following your interest. I mean, every astrologer I think does that, that he's, besides charting clients, that you just look at certain events that interest you. I think you have been involved a little bit in politics in the US before,
Yeah.
so you were interested in that. You said the Indian elections you looked at as well, or?
Between Modi, I didn't look at many other elections, but between the president, prime minister of India, Narendra Modi with, I don't know, the Congress party, and it was clear it was going to
BJP.
win. BJP, that's right.
And because your guru was also the guru of Modi, no?
Yes, there was a bias there, but in this, when we do these things, we try to check out our personal, biases. Again, it wasn't that I cared, because I'm just looking at the play of the universe. Shakespeare, it was William Shakespeare who said, "The world is but a stage," and so. The world is a stage of characters, and so when we look at it from an astrological point of view, we kind of have to look at it in a detached way. Otherwise, we can't really make these predictions if we are going to be involved in it. It actually distorts the what you receive from the charts. But what I can actually make predictions about Trump this year.
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll do it 1 year at a time. Basically, I had predicted that he was going to do well. I had also predicted that he was going to start doing much better from December of last year. And interestingly, he started getting support from the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Actually supported his initiative for immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
He's gotten support from the Congress in terms of the tax plan. So, there are these small achievements that he's making. Again, remember that I'm not a Trump supporter or a Hillary supporter. I'm just looking at it.
It was even surprising that they had, I think, a budget ceiling and kind of suspended the budget for
a few days.
And everybody expected it would last months because Congress was so divided. So it's quite surprising that this was so short.
Yeah. So 2018 is going to be a successful year for Trump. And I know there are a lot of people talking about impeaching him and all that, and it's like, guys, just give it up. He's not going to be impeached. He's not going to have a great time. There's no doubt about that. It's going to be up and down for him, but at the same time, at the end of the day, you'll find that 2018 will be a much better year for him. 2019 will be different, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So right now, 2018 is a really good year. There are some events that's actually going to help him do well. One of them is, I suspect there might be some level of terrorism in the probably summer of the US, summer of this year. And that terrorism incident might take place in the US, on the US soil, which will actually give him more power to act very presidential, and he'll be very effective in trying to deal with that, and he'll basically get a lot of support.
So he will look statesmanly.
He will look statesmanly, yes.
And do the right thing and not just continue reading books to children.
Right.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
And other things about Trump basically is that, he's going to make through this year and do well. He'll start gaining support gradually, not right away.
So, but you said, I think even before he was elected, he said he might not finish his term. And,
yes.
And you said also, I remember that you said that he kind of has a big ego, of course, obviously, that's clear, and he wants to, he has a kind of a subconscious tendency to become a martyr.
Exactly. So, we'll, like I said, we'll cross that in 2019 because that's a potential year. Now, this is not something to be guaranteed, but it appears that because of his inflated ego, he would like to be a martyr of, well, why not check out that way? Because you get immortalized forever. I mean, I'd see him wanting to have a permanent forever flame next to JFK's memorial at in
So
Arlington.
you wanna be a Kennedy?
So you want, yeah, you want to be immortalized like Kennedy and all this stuff that happens right now. People will forget it in the future generations. They, you know, they'll remember.
Like Jackson and who, like, 'cause there's
Right.
a couple of presidents who got
Yeah.
murdered, and usually they were dealing with banks. Funny enough,
Right.
it's kind of coincidence.
So a lot of presidents come and go, you know, but then if you get shot while you're in office, or if you
Yeah.
die in office for some health reasons, I'm not saying that Trump is going to be shot. It's just that there's a likelihood that he may not finish his term for various reasons, and I don't know exactly what those reasons are at this point, but maybe, you know, as we get close to the end of this year or next January of 2019, I probably will have a better idea of you know, what might happen and so on.
So is there a slight possibility, at least, that he gets a second term if he overcomes this crisis in 2019?
Yes, and that's quite possible, because basically, if you remember when Reagan was shot, the people supported him, and so there is that empathy from the population.
Mm-hmm.
So 2019 is a very tricky year for him, and if he makes it through that, then there might be potential for making it in the second term, but then the opposition will be very strong at that point. There'll be some really, really great candidates that might come up. So, you know, there's a lot of things that can change between now and then. So we're talking about something that's really 4 years is really, or 3 years is really far away. But when we come to 2019 and 2020, we'll be able to predict who's going to win.
Because I think at the moment it looks like the economy is going up and people are making money. I mean, the elite is making money, and the elite, which before supported Hillary. And I think so far they are sitting on the fences and they see, okay, at the moment the momentum is waning and we can still make money in the stock market, for instance. And,
exactly, and one of the things why I was able to confidently predict Trump's win is that because of his chart, so astrological chart, you could see that the economy is going to do well. So there were two ends, and when you have a president, a sitting president, and the economy doesn't do well, even if they like him, he doesn't last. But if they don't like the president, as long as everyone is happy in their pockets and they make their money and they have jobs, it doesn't matter what the president does, and that's pretty much what's going on right now. So if from the economic point of view, last year was a very good year, economically speaking, including the stock market. It did really well, and that was also seen in Trump's chart. Now, 2018 will be slightly different in terms of economy.
Can we make a separate video about that?
Yeah, so we'll talk about stock market next, or next year.
There's another thing to say about Trump? Or?
No, I think that's about it for Trump right now.